This time we did it. The technology completes. Our maximum follower robot count has finally increased to 100. We can finally reap the rewards and go get this incredibly convoluted achievement. If we don't screw up the 100 robot deployment at least. We did it. 100 combat robots are following us. Well, that feels... Wait, that was all? After all that hard work? Well, that was short-lived. Well, finally we can move on to the big one. And then there were only two. The easiest achievement in the game and the orders of magnitude out of sync with the rest 20 million green chip production achievement. Since we built our first 4 full belts of green chips production facility 4.5 hours ago, it has produced 1.8 million green chips. It sounds like we could just go AFK for 40 to 50 hours and win, but really we cannot. Not only do these giant mines simply do not contain enough ore to even get close to 20 million green chips, we also would get overrun by expanding and eventually attacking biters. We still have quite a way to go to fully secure our borders, not to mention trying to keep them secure while we set up the rest of the green chip infrastructure. All of which will be located in far less pollution ideal locations on the map. Despite using efficiency modules to their maximum ability, the sheer scale of this project is just too grand to not stink up the entire planet. Next time! So yeah, we have still got a lot of stinking, polluting factory infrastructure to build. And somehow I'm still counting on not triggering pollution-based biter attacks, eh? How do you imagine that's gonna work out? In fact, even without polluting the biters, they already start to get some damage in on the turrets. Oh man. Well, at least the anti-biter expansion wall is still doing its job. Eventually we will need to wall off the unregulated southern border too, but I reckon we may be able to first do some building. Instead of using roboports like a normal person, I intend to do all building from my 8 personal roboports. Wait, what are you doing? You cannot possibly power that many roboports from your armor, dude. Yet here we stand, literally under the original green chip build. And we are ready to build its identical twin with 400 robots powered right from our armor. Whoa, what a sight. Well, so far so good, but look at my battery level dropping. Will the bots really be able to finish this giant build before power runs out? Well, it appears we just barely made it. The 1 gigajoule battery storage is fully emptied out, but we have a hidden additional 560 megajoules of battery. Each of these 16 roboports has a 35 megajoule internal buffer. Anyway, between these giant builds I can quickly recharge everything with these 4 fusion reactors providing 3 megawatts of power. By the time I have collected the next load of building materials, the whole 1.56 gigajoule of power storage will be available again for the next giant build. Nice. Hey, have you seen Spider-Man lately? No? Me neither. I wonder where he is. Anyway, who's laying all those belts? The real friends are the Spider-Mans along the way or something. But what are all those belts supposed to bring? That's right, all the ore for this giant furnace station. Speaking of stations, shouldn't you use trains instead of this massive belt array like a normal person? Well, probably, but can building trains look as cool as this? Heh, I didn't think so. And it's nighttime again. When will you finally learn to film when we can actually see something, eh? I know. But this time it's on purpose, so we can see the furnaces light up the night with their beautiful glow. I even timed it so that the belts below are filling up right as the sun comes up. Cinematic! Wow, he even prepared connecting up the furnace area to the green chip assembly area by a simple Ctrl-Z action. This guy must be a professional. Well, the shocking truth is I will become a professional soon, by definition. After 8 years of delivering impeccable work, my minimum wage day job contract is not getting renewed, as the company is moving labor to a cheaper country. And I have decided that instead of looking for a new job, I'm going to go all in on this Factorio video production thing. So, if the idea of joining my Patreon has already crossed your mind once or twice, there is no better time to bite the bullet than now. Please only consider it if you have the disposable income and stability to do so, and for those of you who don't, no worries. I will keep making videos anyway, and you can still help the channel grow by doing the old like and subscribe thing, ring that bell, and especially share these videos with your friends. Okay, that was all. Let's see how the biters are reacting to us just doubling our green chip production rate. Eight full red belts of green chips, baby. That's 240 green chips per second, which is over 14,000 per minute. More than 800,000 per hour, which means, yeah, we still need over 20 hours of production still. Even without taking into account that the ore patches will decline over time. Speaking about ore patches, our new ore patches are situated a whole lot less ideally, and our dirty miners' pollution is stinking up the bare, unforested desert, where it will soon start spreading to the overseas biters. Oh man. On the positive side, thanks to using efficiency modules in basically everything, our power draw is still less than half of our nuclear reactor's capacity. We may be able to finish the entire playthrough on this reactor alone. Anyway, the pollution is now almost reaching the biters, and our anti-biter expansion wall is not suited to deal with heavy pollution-based attacks. And at the same time, the free radical southern biters are making a determined march up north, reclaiming terrain at an alarming rate. We should really go do something about it now, before it's too late. So naturally, we stick our head in the sand to any potential biter problems and calmly, or perhaps ignorantly, start building the third and fourth block of the green chip assembly area, expanding the green chip assembly area to its final size of a full 16 red bells worth of green chip production. And even though we are currently still only feeding half of that, as we haven't built any of the miners, furnaces or transportation yet for the third and fourth block, as of this moment, after a whopping 43 hours of our factory's pollution being completely unnoticed by the surrounding biters, we have finally started to pollute the biters again. Pollution absorption by the biters starts off ever so slowly, but as the dense pollution cloud from our production center is slowly bulging outwards, the pollution cloud will continue to grow and drop pollution on the biter bases ever faster, as inevitable as a slow-moving tsunami of rotten air. But at least for a while, the biter expansion group size will still outnumber any pollution triggered biter attack group. But will it last like that until we can reach 20 million green chips? We will have to wait and see. Unfazed and untroubled by negative thoughts such as biter attacks, our hero steams on forward, building new mines and a new furnace area for the third green chip assembly block. And thus completing 75% of our intended green chip production goal. Nice, I guess. Well, at least we chose to mine from some ore patches located in previously pristine nature areas. Our projected mining locations for the fourth and final block are located in the southwest corner. But before we can build those, we really need to keep these biter expansions in check. Because if the pollution doesn't expand out to the biters will expand into the pollution cloud themselves. And they will use it as a justification to start a war on our friendly green chip producing megabase. And water production has been going down already. We are sitting on a whopping 250 steel chests of green chips already just in the first block. That's 2.5 million green chips stored right here. Okay, so we are still ignoring the pollution problem, hoping that it will just work out, you know, but at least we are going to tackle the biter expansion problem. Instead of using the expansion chunk visualization, which is a bit cheaty, we can just re-explore the terrain in a zigzaggy-like pattern to flush out all the hidden biter expansions. And there will be a fair few of those for sure. Nice. It is kinda cool being able to just obliterate these small biter expansions just from the map view. Let's switch on the expansion chunks again for some more circle squandering satisfaction. But meanwhile, how is it going with the ignored pollution problem? Well, against all odds, somehow it does seem to be working out by itself. The biter's pollution absorption rate is going up, but at a very slow rate indeed. It's been a full hour since we started polluting them, and they haven't even absorbed enough pollution to send even a single behemoth biter our way. Meanwhile, Spider-Man went a little overboard in pushing back the biters, clearing them out all the way to our planned southern wall and then some. Well, at least that will give me some extra time to set up the fourth and final blocks of green chips before I need to complete the full wall. And so it happens. We mirrored the giant furnace block for the third area and connected to the fourth block. And soon we have 16 bales of green chips rolling down the belts straight into the 2000 chests. But as you may notice, we aren't really producing 16 belts. Not only because not all of the input plate belts are full anymore, but also because I've connected the wrong belts to the chests and we are collecting iron instead of green chips. Whoops. Anyway, after a quick fix, we properly connect the iron belts and the last 4 belts of green chips start flowing into the chests. While we are facing production problems as we cannot keep the input belts saturated anymore with the dwindling existing ore mines, we will ignore that for now. The bulk of the production facility is working and we're losing less than 3k green chips per minute from this facility's maximum production capacity of 28.8k green chips per minute. We have some much more pressing issues to deal with before worrying about fully compressed belts of ore. Like checking out the cool stats on these gun turrets on our busiest border crossing, I guess. Well, perhaps they could use some reinforcement just to be sure, I guess. Obviously, another high urgency issue to worry about is the unbalance in the green chip distribution among the 4 blocks. Our first block, which has been up the longest by far, is not far from being fully filled, and the second block is over halfway of being halfway full. But one does not simply dispose of millions of green chips easily. I mean, we have all occasionally put our pistols of shame in a wooden chest and machine gunned it out of existence, but this is quite a different scale. Fortunately, we now also have quite a different scale of destructive capabilities. Spider-Man, start the demonstration please. Aye aye sir. Bots, let's stop filling those chests. Roboports, disengage. Alright, area is clear. Destruction, engage. Okay, now we just press Ctrl Z like nothing ever happened. Engage the roboports. And nobody will ever know of the great green chip spilling that happened here. Alright, so let's do that one more time, eh? With the deconstruction planner set to deconstruct everything except red belts and steel chests, we easily pick up the blue inserters and steel power poles to be reutilized later. Then we precisely aim for the correct line of chests, keeping in mind the explosion area of the rockets. Then we press Ctrl Z to undo our last build action, which was the aforementioned use of our deconstruction planner, and re-enable the roboport to put back the blue inserters and power lines in its place. The only casualties are the 1000 steel chests filled with green chips and a handful of red bells sacrificed for the sake of a speedy video demonstration. But with that we should have cleared out all the chest space we need to finish this quest for 20 million green chips. Anyway, I really doubted it would be necessary to make a whopping 20,000 efficiency modules, but man, isn't it working out beautifully. I mean, just look at the map. My kingdom is almost fully saturated with pollution, utilizing the natural pollution absorption capacity of the terrain to the max, and the small remaining portion of pollution which is spreading onto the biters still is negligible. Even after polluting them for over 3 hours now, the tiny fraction of pollution which reaches the biters is only enough for them to send a few biters per hour our way. Or in other words, pollution-based biter attacks are still 2 full orders of magnitude smaller than the amount of biters sent in the natural expansion attempts of up to 20 biters at a time. Somehow we have struck the exact optimal balance between production and pollution. Nice! Now we are still less than halfway to the 20 million green chip mark, and the pollution cloud is still expanding, so I won't say pollution cannot escalate out of control anymore, but I think things are looking good. With the full production facility built, we ignore the less than full belts and finally get to work on completing the full wall. It will take a good while for the ammo to travel all the way down the belts to supply the last turrets, but I bet the belt can outspeed the enemy expansion rate. They will have to make several steps north before they are able to attempt to cross our wall. And not much later, we lay down the celebratory final piece of our wall. And for the first time this playthrough, our base is fully walled off from the biters. Nice! And a quick look back at the base shows us that all 4 blocks are now filling up the chests evenly, which means we don't need to worry about chest capacity at all anymore. And at the 53-hour mark, we have finally reached 10 million green chips. We are halfway there, but on all 4 blocks the input belts are dwindling severely now, and green chip production is now 6,000 per minute under our ideal production of nearly 29,000 per minute. And production will continue to fall over time as more and more miners run out. Now there's 2 ways to fix this, and we're gonna do both. Obviously we can build more helper mines, adding to our ore production and adding more pollution, but there's also a second option. Researching more levels of mining productivity, which will increase ore production on all existing miners at no power cost or pollution cost at all. Given that we seem to have reached a delicate pollution equilibrium, the second option definitely sounds like the option to pursue first. The first stack costs a whopping 2500 of each science pack except military science, so we limit each science chest accordingly. Anyway, now all of the required science packs for mining productivity 4 will be produced and stocked up in those chests, while we work on the single science pack that isn't automated, because we needed to make those only once. Yeah. After retrieving all remaining space science packs from the labs, I still have over 600 space science packs remaining. That means that despite the lab's productivity bonus, we will need another full 2 rocket launches to produce another 2000 science packs. But hey, at least we cannot screw up the productivity calculations this time. So here we go again, another 2 rockets worth of rocket control unit ingredients. And we already have the fully automated rocket fuel and low density structures sitting in chests. But while we wait for the RCU, let's do go out and build some helper mines. As more and more miners run out, the total pollution output shrinks accordingly, so hopefully we aren't adding that much pollution by installing a few helper mines. And as the first copper helper mine is installed, we sideload it onto the main copper belts. And as the ore travels through this gigantic splitter construction, we can see the white lines representing gaps between individual ore pieces disappear completely on the main ore belt. Mission success! And after the second helper mine is completed, the full top half of our production facility has access to fully saturated ore belts. Or so it seems. Anyway, after hooking up a helper mine to each of our 4 blocks, the result is... well, we jumped from 22k to 27k per minute. Nice, but we are still shy of the full 28.8k because, of course, this is Factorio. Once you solve one bottleneck, it will just show you the next one. And fixing the weak copper ore belts actually just revealed that the supposedly full iron ore belts actually aren't actually fully full, now that the copper ore belts are fully compressed. Oh well. Anyway, before installing additional helper mines, we shall first focus on improving our existing ones. Who knows, that may just fix the problem all by itself. So, after we bring over the rocket control units to complete the ingredients for the 2 rocket launches, we prepare yet another batch of solar panels and accumulators in our OG assembly area. Not before long we can make the 2 satellites for the launches, but indeed, Spidertron carries supplies for 4 more satellites. That must mean we are planning on getting 2 more levels of mining productivity, bumping the production bonus up from 30 to 50%. That should be a great help. Not before long, it is time for the first launch, generating 1000 space science packs. And while the second rocket is under construction, Spider-Man works on completing the 4 satellites we need for the final level of mining productivity. And soon enough, it's time for the second launch. Which gives us enough science packs to start researching the first level. And while dividing all available space signs into 30 equal stacks again for the 3rd time this playthrough, I really wish I had built 32 labs instead of 30. Or, you know, built a belt like a normal person. Anyway, a bunch of awkward stacking later and we're on the way towards researching mining productivity 4. Oh yeah! Now we just gotta produce 4 more rockets. Again. So again, 16,000 red chips and 16,000 green chips will become 3200 speed modules in our OG crafting area. Again. And once those are done, we can start making the 2880 rocket control units we need for the 4 launches. Again! Another 6000 red and green chips will become 1200 productivity modules. Again. No wait, not again, this is new. What are those for then? Oh, they are going to become 300 Mark II productivity modules. And eventually even 60 Mark III productivity modules. But why do we need... yeah, they are for the labs. I ain't hitting my head on the same stone thrice. In order to research 5000 science packs worth of space science with only 4000 space science packs on hand, we need a 20% productivity bonus in the labs instead of the 12% we have now. That will save us a full rocket launch. Not so bad if we just ignore the fact that these 60 Mark III productivity modules together cost twice as much as a rocket launch. Oh well, at least they're in there now. Should we come up to even more unexpected research projects, right? Meanwhile, mining productivity 4 finishes and we can immediately see a sharp incline on the copper and iron ore production graph, which will, after a small delay, lead to a green chip production increase as well. And while we wait for the 4 rockets to complete, we hook up a tiny iron mine to support the big one. Which solves this miner's throughput problems. But we indeed do see the effects of the 2 helper miners built in this pollution-saturated area. As the terrain is already fully saturated, all of the extra pollution will go straight into biter attacks, as this sharp bend upwards in this graph clearly shows. Despite that, pollution-based attacks should still be a single order of magnitude smaller than the expansion-based ones. I still don't foresee any real biter problems on the horizon. Well, the rocket control units are all done, so it is time to launch the last 4 rockets and grab that final mining productivity technology. Let's enjoy this last launch of the series on camera. Meanwhile, we tirelessly hustle to connect our helper mines to our production facility. With or without Spider-Man. And this giant new copper mine located in this pristine northeastern jungle should solve the last ore bottleneck we have. Let's see the side-loading belt compression technique in action. And it is done. We check around with the gaps tool to check for any uncompressed belts. But there are none. We are finally and truly producing a full 16 red belts worth of green chips. A production total of 28.8k per minute or over 1.7 million per hour. And with 15 million chips produced already, we should reach the 20 million achievement in less than 3 hours. Which means we are looking at a sub 60 hour finish. And the upcoming completion of Mining Productivity 5 will compensate for any miners running out in this time frame. I think we are done here. In these 3 hours there's nothing of significance we can do to finish the achievement noticeably faster. I think it is finally time. Time to relax. Come on, Spider-Ben. I will take you someplace nice. Well-deserved drink here on the beautiful Biter Beach. While our fully automated base finishes all the remaining work by itself, we can finally sit down and relax. After all this hard work, I can finally see the soothing light at the end of the tunnel. And once the achievement comes in, we know that we have achieved all that there is to achieve. Wait, what was that? Huh, must have been the wind. But I cannot get rid of this nagging feeling that I forgot something. I've been working on this green chip thing for so long, but I don't really think there's anything else which needs to be done, is there? Nah, I think we're all done here. It's been a long one, but we have finally completed all achievements.